How Europe stole the world's largest diamond from Africa and made it the British crown jewel. The imperial state crown and sovereign scepter rest atop the coffin of Britain's Queen Elizabeth II. The scepter includes Cullinan I, also known as the Great Star of Africa, the largest colorless cut diamond in the world. It weighs more than 530 carats. The Cullinan II, weighing 105.6 carats, is the second largest diamond in the world and is the centerpiece of the imperial state crown. Before looking at the ongoing debate and protests on the return of the lost treasure, let's get to know how it all started back then, in the 19th century. The Great Star of Africa. In 1905, the premier mine near Pretoria, South Africa was only 2 years old, but it was already one of the most productive diamond mines in the world. One morning, the mine superintendent Frederick Wells was conducting a routine inspection, 18 feet, that is 5.5 meters below the surface, when a glint of a sparkling rock caught his attention on the wall above. Using a penknife, he pried out a large misshapen hunk of what he assumed to be a worthless rock crystal. Description of the diamond. The Cullinan diamonds are not only some of the world's largest cut diamonds, but are also some of the most beautiful, possessing all of the most prized characteristics of gem diamonds, says Evan Smith, a senior research scientist at the Gemological Institute of America, the organization that grades diamonds according to the 4 C's: cut, clarity, color, and carat weight. The Cullinan diamonds are the ultimate color. They are very large and their clarity is very good, Smith says. They are the quintessential top tier in terms of what makes an attractive diamond, something that's completely colorless and nearly transparent inside. The rocks that build South Africa. The Cullinan 3 and 4 brooch center and Cullinan 7 Delhi Dubar necklace and Cullinan pendant were on display as part of the Diamonds, a Jubilee celebration exhibition at Buckingham Palace in 2012. In 1867, a 15-year-old boy named Erasmus Jacobs, son of a poor Boer farmer, found a shiny rock on his otherwise desolate land. When neighbors convinced him to send the rock to British authorities in the Cape Colony, tests confirmed that the brownish yellow stone was in fact a 21.25 carat diamond, now known as the Eureka diamond. This diamond, wrote the British Colonial Secretary at the time, is the rock upon which the future success of South Africa will be built. The discovery of diamonds in the Transvaal drew a flood of prospectors to the region. 15 years later, they also discovered gold there. The British, who had signed treaties recognizing Boer independence in the 1850s, turned around and annexed the Transvaal and other Boer territories. After 2 bloody conflicts known as the Anglo-Boer Wars, the British prevailed and claimed the Transvaal as part of the Crown's colonial holdings in South Africa. In 1907, the Cullinan was presented to King Edward VII by the government of Transvaal. It was a symbolic gesture intended to heal the rift between Britain and South Africa following the Boer War. After initial hesitation, the king accepted the gift on the recommendation of the British government. The stone was taken away by heavy police escort to Sandringham and formally presented on the king's 66th birthday. Cutting this extraordinary diamond was a considerable challenge. The stone was dispatched to the leading diamond cutters of the day, Ashes of Amsterdam. It took 4 days to prepare the groove for the cleaving knife, and the very first blow broke the knife rather than the diamond. Over the next 8 months, 3 men worked for 14 hours a day to cut and polish 9 large stones from the original diamond. Each of these stones was given a number of 1 to 9, and today they are still referred to in this way. 97 small brilliants and some unpolished fragments were also created. After King Edward's death in 1910, King George V had Cullinan 1 and 2 set in the sovereign scepter and imperial state crown respectively. Both these stones are still in the regalia today. The remaining numbered diamonds were kept by Ashes as payment for their work. Cullinan 6 and 8 were later brought privately by King Edward VII as a gift for Queen Alexandra, and the others were acquired by the South African government and given to Queen Mary in 1910 in memory of the inauguration of the Union. They were bequeathed to Queen Elizabeth II in 1953. Queen Elizabeth and the Star of Africa. This crown was made in 1937 for Queen Elizabeth, consort of King George VI. The front cross holds the Koh-i-Noor diamond, which had been mounted in the crowns of Queen Alexandra and Queen Mary. Queen Elizabeth II talks to guests as she hosts a garden party at Buckingham Palace in 2010. She's wearing the Cullinan 5 brooch, which includes a heart-shaped stone weighing 18 carats. The brooch was originally worn by Queen Mary as part of the suite of jewelry made for the Delhi Durbar in 1911. While heads of state paid their respects to Elizabeth for her dignity, strength, and poise during her historic nearly 71-year reign, others criticized the Queen for never formally apologizing for atrocities committed during Britain's colonial era, which included colonial rule over part or all of South Africa from 1795 to 1961. The discovery and sale of the record-setting Cullinan diamond is wrapped up in that messy colonial history. The passing of Queen Elizabeth on September 8th shook the world. Millions of fans globally mourned as a wave of grief and gratitude poured out. However, something else had taken the spotlight recently and even outshone her funeral. Well, 3 diamonds in the royal family. The Koh-i-Noor, or the Mountain of Light diamond, set in the Maltese cross at the front of the crown made for Britain's late Queen Mother, is seen in her coffin along with her personal standard, a wreath, and a note from her daughter, Queen Elizabeth, as it is drawn to London's. Although Koh-i-Noor means Mountain of Light in Persian, it seems it only brings good luck to women. Superstition has it that it is cursed and misfortune will befall any man who wears it, reported NBC News. The rumor originated from its precious history of being owned and lost by many male rulers. Thus, it is believed only a woman will be spared its ill fate, and seems to be true in the case of the Queen Mother and Queen Elizabeth. Out of 23,000 gemstones in the crown jewels, the Koh-i-Noor diamond on the Queen Mother's crown, the Great Star of Africa mounted atop the sovereign scepter with cross, and the Second Star of Africa on the imperial state crown have become a point of contention between British royalty and India and South Africa. So, why are the jewels caught in the middle of a controversy? Significance of the diamonds. At 105.6 carats, the Koh-i-Noor weighs a mere 21 grams, but fetches a hefty price, estimated at up to $400 million per Bono Smart jewelry. It was originally 186 carats, but Queen Victoria's husband, Prince Albert, had it recut in 1852 to enhance its brilliance and fit modern European style, per Smithsonian Magazine. The diamond was then set in the crown of Queen Alexandra, then Queen Mary, then Queen Mother, who wore it in 1937. The Sikhs had to surrender the diamond to Queen Victoria as part of the Treaty of Lahore, which marked the end of Anglo-Sikh wars in the Punjab, present-day eastern Pakistan and northern India. The huge diamond has passed through the hands of many royal kings. The Koh-i-Noor is one of the largest cut diamonds in the world, coming in at just 105 carats. It is said to be worth between 140 and $400 million, but also it is hailed as priceless. It is also known as one of the world's most controversial diamonds. The present protest. It is reported as being owned by the Rajas of Malwa until 1304, followed by the Emperor of Delhi, Alauddin Khilji. After that, for the next 300 years from the year 1339, it stayed in the city of Samarkand. The Koh-i-Noor remained in India until 1849 when British forces conquered the Punjab and it became part of the British East India Company. It was then shipped back to Britain and in July 1850 given to Queen Victoria. The diamond was eventually cut and worn by the Queen, who stated in her will that it should only ever be worn by a female monarch or carried by the wife of the head of state. The diamond became part of the crown jewels after Queen Victoria passed away. India, Pakistan, Afghanistan and Iran have all contested British royalty's ownership of the Koh-i-Noor, stating it was looted from them despite the monarchy having claimed it was a gift. The Tower of London website states, "The crown jewels, part of the royal collection, are the most powerful symbols of British monarchy and hold deep religious and cultural significance in our nation's history." Yeah, right. However, Indian politician and former international civil servant Shashi Tharoor has called out Britain as owing its former colonies. Instead of returning plundered patrimony to its rightful owners, the British are clinging to stolen artifacts such as the Koh-i-Noor diamond, which they embedded in the Queen Mother's tiara and shamelessly flaunt in the Tower of London. South African media has been debating ownership of the gem, along with demands for the payment of reparations. Activist Thandusolo Sabelo echoed his sentiment, according to South African newspaper Times Live. The Cullinan diamond must be returned to South Africa with immediate effect. The minerals of our country and other countries continue to benefit Britain at the expense of our people. The Queen's death has opened up a conversation about colonialism and how it relates to her legacy. The Cullinan diamond must be returned to South Africa with immediate effect. More than 6,000 people have signed a petition asking for the Great Star of Africa to be returned and displayed in the South African Museum. A member of the South African Parliament, Vuyolwethu Zungula, urged his country to demand reparations for all the harm done by Britain and also demand the return of all the gold and diamonds stolen by Britain. Calls have also grown for the Great Star of Africa, also known as Cullinan I and First Star of Africa, to be returned. In your opinion, was the Cullinan diamond a royal gift or a stolen gem? And who should claim full ownership of it after the Queen's death? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the videos. Also hit the notifications bell so you'll be notified every time we post a new video.